the whole thing is terrifying, really, the ramifications of what's going to happen at the end.
Without the allotment, I don't think I'd be sane, because I'm here every other day. You see people out, you can chat to your neighbours at a distance, of course, you can hear kids playing, and then it's been the most wonderful spring. I don't know one that's been like this. The only problem for an allotment here is it's so dry, but it's just beautiful seeing everything come up and actually having the time to do it without distractions.
So how are you finding lockdown at the moment?
Well, it's given me an excuse to really get on with working at my allotments in an unprecedented manner. The allotment's getting much more attention than it normally does, because it's where I go most days to get my ration of exercise. And of course in this weather, the weather's been very good, so it's been really ideal.
It's a funny, very funny situation, obviously, because none of us had any idea what was going to happen, and we're still sort of floundering, really. I'm really luckier, as are all the people who have this site, who have plots, because we can actually get out and get away, and we have some freedom.
Well, my husband is a shielded person, so I'm not shopping at all. I'm not going out otherwise, except here, because you can get in and out without having to come at close quarters with people. And the real problem we've had is to do with shopping, I think, because it took an age to get anything online and in the way of supermarket food. So I've been very reliant on friends, which has its nice side. I have to ask them, but I'd rather not have to ask.
Who knows what's going to happen? We have no idea. I mean, to try and take some good things out of it, I mean, there's nothing good out of 100,000 people or whatever it is dying, but people finding real values again. Kids playing at home, dads and mums playing with their kids, not playing. My son at the moment, all right, he's 22, but he's started playing Scrabble with my wife, and we're all going to play together, and things like that. And there's a lovely family across the road, got 3 kids, and they're doing all sorts of things at home and in the street, and all this kind of, it's bringing stuff back. They can't go out and just do other stuff and drink too much and spend too much time looking at screens and all the rest of it. I think there's a good feeling behind it. I mean, my fear, of course, about that is that it'll all disappear. The second it goes, this thing finishes, everybody goes straight back to how they were. Economically, we're going to be in dire straits, of course.
How has lockdown affected you?
Well, I'm involved in running a social club, and I'm used to running a lot of events, pub socials, musical events, open mics and so on, and I'm putting them all online at the moment, and that's actually working really well. I can have a good pub evening without having to travel somewhere, drive somewhere, get on the tube, so it's actually working out fine. Actually.
That's wow. So you put like a Zoom pub, like a Zoom,
it's Zoom, yeah.
And then just tell us a little bit about that. Can anybody come in, or?
The club is IVC, London InterVarsity Club. Anyone can join, and we've got a number of meet-up groups which anyone can join, so they can come in and join. Everyone's welcome, really. It can be worrying. We had 2 members last night who've had the virus, and one is still quite ill, actually. He was coughing and very, very weak, and he described to us what it was like, and I think that made us all think very carefully about our behaviour, to stick to the rules very closely.
How did he explain it, out of interest?
He described the symptoms, really. Described the symptoms and the way in which his life has changed. He's had to stay indoors and not go out at all, get other people to look after him and so on.
Doesn't really, well, I say it doesn't bother me. I'm sort of at retirement stage now, so I don't have to go to work. Obviously I've got responsibilities and bills and stuff, but it's an easier position for me than a lot of people. But it's horrible. I mean, it's awful what's happening. And you really do see the best and the worst of people. You see people who, well, they're either stupid, they don't care, or they're arrogant, or they think they're above it all, and they think that they're sort of impervious to a disease. Anybody can get it, and you drive past shops and you see people really doing the right thing. which is fantastic, and then suddenly there's a whole group of people who are doing absolutely the wrong thing. It's a real sort of dichotomy, and you just think, why don't they get it? Why don't they? I suppose that's the human condition, isn't it?
I haven't seen my brother or his family except on Zoom for something like 6 weeks now, because his daughter got sick very early on. We don't know whether it was coronavirus or just a bout of flu, but that means we didn't see one another for a couple of weeks before lockdown, and we won't see them again for ages. So but we chat. Other than that, with friends, it's a sort of excuse to go into a little huddle and be on our own for a while. I mean, I've got a partner. I don't know what it would be like if I was on my own. I think I'd find that very hard.
Well, a lot of places will go bankrupt. I fear my local pub, the Windsor Castle, very close to here, I fear that may not reopen. And some of my favourite restaurants around here, I fear, may not reopen. Yeah, I think our lives will be poorer. Yeah. There may be more sense of community, but in terms of the things we're used to, I think we're going to miss some stuff. And I fear there's going to be bad unemployment. A lot of people are going to lose their jobs and not get back into work in much of a hurry, really.
How do you feel about social distancing then? And how do you think the impact of that will have psychologically on society?
It's not good. It's not good, and of course you don't realise until you're put in a position where you think, okay, 6 feet's not very much, but then suddenly you think, as an organism, we are, we're all over each other all the time. I mean, I don't mean that bad. What I mean is there's so much touch and communication, and suddenly, so it's very weird. It's very weird that what it does to people and how it makes you realise just how connected we are to other people. And suddenly we're not. We're isolated, and you catch yourself doing things. Oh, I should be further away, or people in a shop getting close to me. It's like you get paranoid about it, and you think, oh well, it's. And you think, no, it's not all right. And then you get a different. Wearing a mask. Is it good? Is it bad? Talked to a friend of mine who's a nurse. No point wearing a mask. There is a point to wear a mask if you've got COVID, because you're restricting the output. But if you haven't got it, and you're breathing in all this lovely air, and you've got a nice, wet, moist, perfect nutrient ground so it's like, what do you do? What do we do? Do we get tested as well? Are we going to be able to get tested? But yeah, socially, it's a very very strange thing.
It's going to be a long time before I can walk into a supermarket again. I don't feel safe. The last time I went into a corner shop, I felt cornered because there were just too many people and corridors are too narrow. So I think I'll be shopping less often. But then during the summer, most of my vegetables come from here, so I don't do a lot of regular shopping. And we haven't been out to eat, which is having meals out would be nice, but we won't be doing that.
I think Boris Johnson getting it was quite weird, actually, and I think that probably made everyone take it more seriously. I'm still seeing some people who aren't taking it seriously enough, who are not maintaining the 6 foot distance. I'm glad to say virtually everyone on the allotment is following the rules. I mean, the allotment's a good place to be because you are isolated. You're in your own allotment plot, really, and you can get on. You're outdoors, and you're avoiding being close to other people. So it's made me value that more, I guess.
How do you feel life will be like after lockdown?
Very hard to know, isn't it? We'll be locked down longer than other people. It's made me less inclined to get on with things, except the garden. The only thing that is actually moving, I don't want to look at paperwork or papers to do with stuff or have to do with anything professional at all at the moment. And I'm getting my head back into a space where I can work and drive through things that involve writing or organising other things. I'm not sure quite how I'll get back into that. What it'll do to the economy, who knows? I mean, I'm technically retired, So it's not going to affect us directly. But I do worry.
What will it be like?
Yeah.
Well, there's a part of me that's very cynical. And I think a lot of the lessons that we might be learning on a social level will be forgotten instantly. People will revert back to exactly what they've done in the past. Within 2 minutes, they'll all be driving, they'll all be doing everything that they've done before. And whether there will actually be any real... I mean, I think economically, and it's going to be tough, it's going to be difficult, but people will just kind of... I just think they'll kind of forget, what it was like. We have a very human beings have a very short-term memory. I mean, if you have a bad illness, I mean, some years ago I had a very bad illness that was very serious and blah, 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 and one of the things that was really horrendous was the pain. And it's like a memory, or a forgotten memory. I don't remember what that pain was like now. And we do this. Maybe it's a self-defense thing. You just kind of, you forget what has passed and what has happened, and you just go back to how you were. Although I think because of the economical problems, for a while people will think differently, but I think ultimately they'll just revert back to type.
Well, I hope, because people, it's very noticeable that although it's a frightening occasion, really, a frightening experience, that people are actually more friendly. Everyone says hello to you. I'm hoping that will survive, and this sense of community that's been damaged so badly in the last couple of decades, I hope we'll see a little bit more community, and I hope the National Health Service will be treated better as well. And I hope it will make people think about future events rather than just live in the now. I mean, people are not taking climate change seriously enough. I hope this will frighten people into deciding that they've got to start thinking about climate change as well. Because we were warned that there were pandemics on the way. Scientists have been warning about this for years, in the same way they've been warning us about climate change. So I hope really people will take climate more seriously, maybe as a result of this frightening experience.
I've been through all sorts of crises, as I don't know, things like Spanish. Well, not Spanish, because that was in. I'm actually not that old. Spanish flu, it was 1912 or something, I don't know. But there have been various sort of things that have happened that have been big flus and epidemics and all the rest of it. But there's been nothing quite like this, where we've actually had to really just do something extraordinary that we've never done before, and it's very unsettling. I mean, cholera, I suppose, that suddenly when that, I think that was in the 1800s, was it, cholera, when they suddenly realised that, the whole thing about water had to be changed, that everybody had to change the way that they dealt with water, because that's how cholera is spread, through dirty water. So, I don't know, the ramifications of it, who knows, I don't know. It's just horrible. You just want it to be over. You don't want anybody else to suffer and to die, and it's just so... Well, I suppose all illness is horrible, but it just seems to be so random. Some people can get it and they're fine. My nephew's had it, and his girlfriend, they were pretty ill, but they're okay now. Somebody else can get it who's fit as a flea and just die. So it's scary. It's scary, and I just thank God I'm up here breathing what I think is fresh air in London.
The thing I like about it actually is the quiet. You can hear the dawn chorus in the morning. And you look out the window during the day and there's foxes trotting down the street, which you wouldn't have seen before all this happened. When it's over, of course, it'll all go back to the noise and the animals will start hiding again. I
mean, I'm driving along the street the other day, and the streets were completely bare, and there was a cyclist. He pulled up a set of traffic lights. There was no traffic anywhere, and he just stopped and he waited. Now, we all know what drivers do, the red light, cyclists go, and all the cycle wars and car and cycle road, all the rest of it. And of all occasions when there was nothing on the road anywhere, he could just have gone. And would it have mattered? No. But he just stayed there, and I unwound the window and I said, well done to you, mate. That's just, listen, be safe, be careful, and he said, oh yeah, and you, and there was this, is that going to happen? Is that sort of thing going to happen afterwards? I don't think so.
Well, this is interesting. I help run this social club, and we've been putting stuff online, and people have enjoyed it so much. They told me, when the virus has gone, can we still be doing social events online, please? So we've learnt something from that. Actually, we learnt something from that.
I live on a major road in and out of London. The front garden, which is shared between the other flats in the house, it's sort of tidy, and I've got some plants out there, but it's not mine, it's shared with the whole house. Nobody ever went in it till now. The guys upstairs who don't have a garden at the back, which I do have, they've been sitting on the bench outside our kitchen, and they never liked to do that because it was outside our kitchen. They're quite happy to do it now because they've got somewhere to sit, and it's not, you can hear yourself talk because you couldn't have done before, and the air's so much cleaner. And as my husband's asthmatic, that makes a huge difference.